Hello friends, welcome to another science lesson, and in this video I'll be talking about tides. Tides. What are tides? Tides are the rise and fall of sea levels caused by three objects: the sun, moon and earth. The sun takes place in this tide action because the sun's gravitational pull helps in making tides greater and smaller. Same to moon. Moon's gravitational pull also helps tide become small and big, and the Earth's rotation and revolution. I'll tell you why Earth's rotation and revolution takes place in tides in the following slides. Types of tides and when and why do tides occur? Tides occur every time on any big water body, anytime, anywhere. And by big water body, I mean a sea, a ocean, a river, any big water body. Not a pool, not a pond, but water bodies like sea, oceans, and rivers. Tides occur because of three forces acting on it. The three forces, this thing, the sun's gravitational pull, the moon's gravitational pull too, and the earth's rotation and revolution. When and why do the two types of tides occur? Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. There are two types of tides that occur till now: high tides and low tides. High tides and low tides occur in every part of the ocean or river on any time. It can also be in seas. I forgot to write that down. High tide occur in night time of the world, whereas low tide in the morning. Why does that happen? Low tides occur in the morning because it is using sun's gravity to become high. So means take a plain ocean, okay? Let's say this red line is a plain ocean and this red ball is a sun. Now this thing is the sun's gravity. It is pulling the waves up. It is pulling the waves up. So that thing is called tides. Because of the sun's gravity, tides occur, but low tides. Low tides. Now let's see what happens with the moon. Let's take this red ball again as the moon. Now the moon also gives out gravity. So now it is causing high tides. Because of the moon's gravity, it is causing high tides. Now you would be asking, why does the moon's gravity causes high tide but not low tide? Whereas why the sun's gravity causes low tide but not high tide? The answer to it is the distance. You would be thinking that the sun has such a big mass. It must have had more gravity than the moon. Then why didn't the sun pull up the tides more than the moon? That's because of the distance. You can see the moon is only 238,855 miles away from the earth, whereas the sun is so far away from the earth, 92.6 million miles. That's a big amount. Let me tell again. The moon is only 238,855 miles away from the earth, and the sun is not only but very far away, 92.96 million miles. So you must be understanding why sun causes low tides and moon causes high tides. Fun fact: the interval between two tides is 12 hours. The wavelength of a tidal wave is around 12,430 miles, roughly 20,000 kilometers. Tidal power is the most predictable of all renewable energy. Now, what is the meaning of this fun facts? I'm telling you. So you can see the first one is interval between two tides is 12 hours. So let's take this. Let's take this. So let's take this line as the base or the ocean, and let this thing be the tide, water. Sorry, this thing be the water. Now the moon is here, it's night time. So what happens in the night time? I taught you, I just told you what happens in the night time. What type of tides come up in the night time? It's right, high tide. So the high tide has come up, like say in 12 midnight. Now 12 hours have gone, it is 12 noon. Now it is 12 noon. Now it is 12 noon. Just wait a second. Now let's take this gray circle as the sun. I'm sorry, this orange circle as the sun. And what happens in when the sun occurs? What type of tide? I even told you that low tides. So the interval between one high tide and one low tide is 12 hours. Now, before in the slides, I told you about Earth's rotation and revolution. Earth rotation and revolution takes place in this tidal action. How does it take place? Good question. Let's take this as the Earth. Let me add some effects to it. Okay, there you go. So let's take this as the Earth. Now the Earth is rotating around its axis. The Earth is rotating around its axis. So why does this rotation and revolution took place in the tide? The answer is, how does the interval between low tide and high tide? The Earth rotates and revolutes. That's why the interval between the high tide and low tide is 12 hours. So if one side facing the moon has high tide and the other side facing the moon has other side facing the sun has low tide, then the earth is revolving, the sides are changing. So now the side which was facing the sun is facing the moon. That moon is now giving gravity to the water and high tides are occurring, and that side which was facing the moon is now facing the sun. So the sun's gravity, lesser gravity than the moon, is giving low tides. So that is how the Earth's rotation and revolution takes place in the tidal action. Let's go back to the PPT. Now, the second fun fact was the wavelength of a tidal wave is around 12,430 miles, roughly 20,000 kilometers. What do I mean by that? I mean that let's take another ocean example. And let's take it as hollow tide. There you go. Please don't go on the drawing. Okay. So this is a wave. So what did I meant? So what did I mean? The wavelength of a tidal wave is around 12,430 miles. I meant that this whole thing, this whole, from this end to this end, its length is, what is the length? The length is 12,430 miles or 20,000 kilometers. The length is 12,430 miles 12,430 miles or 20,000 kilometers. So that is what I meant by this fun fact. Moving on to the next one, what was I saying to the next one? The tidal power is the most predictable of all renewable energy sources. What is that? Have you ever seen a windmill, or have you ever heard of windmill? What does the windmill do? Windmill is a natural form. It takes energy without polluting anything. So water, this tidal power is the most predictable of all renewable energy. That means in the future, tidal power has the most chances of being used as a renewable energy. So that's it for today. I hope you understood what tides are. Thank you.